Okay, so now I'm going to be shifting into another seriously important piece on the road to your superhuman self. Let's talk about food. It may be overused, but it's true. You are what you eat. Now, I know eating what's healthy and nourishing for you on a regular basis can be just as challenging as getting in the daily exercise. But it's just as important, if not more important, to creating what you desire at your core. You see, you can eat anything you want, but the more garbage in you put in, the more garbage out that's going to be produced, right? And, I eat a vegetarian lifestyle. I still eat cheese every now and then, but that's me. Now, I know certain people need meat, and I know that certain people need dairy. And, dairy, I think itself is just the way that it's manufactured here, at least in the US, is not the best. So I stay away from all dairy as much as I can. Like I said, I do like cheese. And if you need to eat meat, you need to eat meat. What I do is I tend to look at your lineage, your ancestral lineage, and see how that is. And if you have the calling to go vegetarian or you've been thinking about it for a while, do it and try it. And usually following that gut instinct of what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat is usually the right way to actually go and eat. So what I'm going to explain to you is here's why food is so important. You see, there are two types of eating in life. You're either living to eat or you're eating to live. You see, living to eat is what I like to call kind of like recreational eating. You're eating just to eat something to keep going because you like what it tastes like or, just to be sociable. The point here is that you're really not being conscious about what you eat at all. This kind of eating literally just ends up depleting your body of energy and nutrients, leaving it like a toxic wasteland. You may not see the effects of it right away, but it will eventually catch up to you and ultimately dampen your powers of creation. Now, don't get me wrong. I sometimes get busy and need to grab something quick. And, I like going out to having great dinners with families and friends, but just not every day. Personally, I'm in the eating to live camp. Eating to live is about eating and drinking things that nourish, energize, and sustain your body and mind. Your body is like your temple. It's everything. Why don't you treat it right? So what you eat affects you physically, mentally, emotionally. So, really, why not eat to reflect how you really want to be? Everybody's going to have a different dietary need, like I said before, but in general, eating meals chock full of fresh, organic fruits and vegetables works to help to sustain your body at the highest level. Their nutritional composition is unique because on the cellular level, fruits and vegetables are composed of vitamins, minerals, proteins, amino acids, and enzymes in their natural form. And this is the most effective combination as well. This is basically the jet fuel your body needs to function at its highest level, as well as to build and rebuild new cells of every kind. There's blood cells, there's brain cells, there's heart muscle cells, lung cells, hair cells. Look, you get the idea, right? Your body uses these nutrients to literally rebuild our vital organs, immune system, and every cell in our body. We are quite magnificent creatures. Think about that. We have two kidneys that sit in our body, right? Our kidneys purify our blood all day long. Someone that doesn't have kidneys or they have kidney failure, they need to go on a machine that purifies their blood that's like literally quite the size of a bedroom. It's a massive machine just to purify your blood. Yet, we have these little things that sit in our body that do this stuff for us. How magnificent is that? We must take care of that and really tap into that power of knowing everything that's going on inside of us, and what we're putting in is what we're getting out. Juicing is one of the best ways I know how to eat to live. Juicing extracts the juice from fresh fruits and vegetables. The resulting liquid contains most of the vitamins, minerals, and plant chemicals like phytonutrients found in the whole entire fruit or vegetable. Although it's also important to eat whole foods with fiber, juicing is the most effective way to get nutrients and fast. Once the fiber's been removed from the raw fruits and vegetables, your body can get nutrition to the cellular level much faster and expend much less energy, making it happen. For example, you can consume the nutrients from a whole pound of carrots by drinking just an 8-ounce glass of carrot juice. And to get that nutrition into your bloodstream and on the way to your cells is just basically happening in a matter of minutes. Then, if you want to, in another hour, you can drink another 8-ounce glass. But there's no way that you're going to eat like 2 pounds of carrots in a matter of 2 hours without feeling like a sick version of like Bugs Bunny or something like that. So you may be wondering why I've focused on the merits of fruits and vegetables and juicing. Well, without getting into too much depth about the details of nutrition, because that quite literally would be its own program in itself, I wanted to touch on one of the biggest ways you can fine-tune your system into a creation machine. You see, not only do fruits and vegetables actually contain chlorophyll and things like that that happen through photosynthesis. So basically, the sun shines on a plant, the plant grows, it grows fruits. Basically, what is inside of those plants, what the stuff that you're eating, vegetables and fruits, and some of that raw stuff that comes from the earth, has light inside of it. And so what we're doing is we're eating this and we're putting it inside of our body to nourish us and give us that light, like give us that light from the sun so that we can become one with earth and we can bring that light into our bodies. And so in reading the China study, the largest comprehensive and might I add like bulletproof study of human nutrition ever conducted via partnership between Cornell University, Oxford University, and the Chinese Academy of Preventative Medicine, the message is crystal clear. Eat a plant-based diet for health. I recommend that you read this or the findings when you get a chance. It's life-changing. So getting back to building yourself into a creation machine and eating intelligently to live, what you take into your body really does affect how you can create what you want in your life. Check out this image. You're looking at the pineal gland again, often called the third eye in the human brain. The pineal gland is a small endocrine gland in your brain that's responsible for many, many important functions. It produces several important hormones, including melatonin and dopamine. Melatonin influences sexual development and sleep-wake cycles, and dopamine is the chemical messenger that transmits your brain's signals. It helps to speed up your memory and learning abilities, and it's said to enhance your creativity, wisdom, and intuition. Amongst other things, the pineal gland is a very powerful gateway, and it has cones and rods like an eye does, and it can hear, and it's a very, very powerful organ. It's said in the ancient scriptures that it was used to travel to other locations and astral project and use it for enlightenment and things like that. If you've ever seen pictures of ancient gods, doesn't matter what religion, it seems that they have like this glow around their head. Well, that glow actually used to be a very real thing at one point where people would literally be enlightened, and it's the pineal gland that would actually be lit up so much inside of them that it would almost literally, quite literally create a glow around them. So living to eat, as I touched on before, and consuming unhealthy foods like sugar, caffeine, alcohol, and chemicals like fluoride and chlorine and mercury, pesticides, and other toxins leads to calcification of your pineal gland. When this happens, your pineal gland shuts down and becomes dormant. Without a healthy pineal gland, you're like Superman wearing kryptonite. And your superhuman capabilities are, well, poof, gone, right? So when you detoxify and decalcify your system, getting rid of all the harmful chemicals that you've built up inside of you, you literally unlock the hidden power of your pineal gland and regain your superhuman powers. When your pineal gland is decalcified, you'll see vast improvements in your life, like increased clarity and concentration and intuition and decisiveness and insight and enhanced imagination and vivid and lucid dreams. You can start decalcifying your pineal gland by simply introducing raw organic lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, garlic, oregano, and even raw chocolate into your diet. I've even included a few juicing recipes in your project book to kickstart your efforts. Not too bad, right? I think it's a small effort to make to reawaken your third eye so that you can get back on track to creating the life you want. Studies have shown that certain foods can help boost your cognitive function and moods. I guess there's a reason it's called the gut instinct. Your stomach is home to about 100 trillion bacteria, so it makes sense that disrupting or supporting this environment could ultimately affect the mind. For example, oatmeal is a complex carbohydrate that causes the brain to produce serotonin, or the feel-good hormone, and chocolate promotes brain function and fosters the release of mood-enhancing endorphins. And these are just a few examples. So before you take in your next drink or meal, I want you to ask yourself, am I living to eat, or am I eating to live?